Alright, so back on the ground. 2 lugs in each wheel. This wheel is definitely cambered in, so we're going to have to worry about that later. Okay, I'm going to do some measurements and then we'll see where we're at. Alright, on to the height adjustment for the yellow racing springs. I have the car kind of set where I want it. The springs are in, the shocks are in, the bottom bolts are out, so the shocks are not actually affecting anything. You can see the bolt hanging out right there. So I have kind of measured from the top of my rim to the bottom of the fender, and I want to be about 3.5 inches, which I am just about, so I could actually go about right there, about a 16th maybe. So in order to choose that right height, I just kind of decided that's what I wanted. I put the jack down there to lift the back of the car up just so that I could get what I wanted to look at. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to slide in there. I'm going to get myself up underneath the car and adjust that collar so that it is where I want. Then I'll set the car down and check the measurement again, and then do it on both sides. Alright, from this angle you can see the bottom shock is not connected as per the instructions on the ride height adjustment. I just did it this way because I don't have to take the wheel back off. So all I did was preset everything and then just pulled the bolt back out with my finger, and then I can put it back in and not have to take this wheel off. So you can see I have my upper tension collar loose. Spring is sitting on the car. I'm going to jack it up a little bit so I can spin that bottom one down. Then I'll set it back on the ground, remeasure, and once I get this side set, I will do the same thing on the other. Alright, that's about 3.5. Oops. Top of the rim to the fender, 3.5 inches. That's where I want to be. Alright. So, now I got this side done. Now I got to do the other side, and then I'll jack it up, tighten down the 2 collars, put the bolts back in for the shocks, and the rear will be done. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I like doing it this way because then I don't have to keep taking the wheel on and off. Since I'm not using air tools, this is the simplest solution. So on the front, you do have to take the wheel off, at least on this car, to make the adjustment. So I have upper and lower camber adjustment. On the passenger side, I am all the way to the right, but if you look, there's a little dot right here, and it's pretty much dead center. On my driver's side, it's reversed, and so the wheel is kicked way in. So on this side, we are looking at 3 inches. So I'm going to go ahead, I want this to be at 3.5 also, so we need to bring it up a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to put the jack under the car, take out the 2 lug nuts. I've been doing work on the car, so it hasn't been moving. So I only put the 2 lug nuts because I knew I was going to be doing this today. So don't think that I'm driving around like this. This has been up on jack stands for the past 3 weeks. So just put it down once I got the springs in. I wanted the car on the ground for a couple of days so that it sort of settled into the springs. So I'm going to go ahead and put a jack under this, lift it up, pull the tire, and then I will do the adjustment. Okay, so on your coil springs, people make this mistake. I've seen it a couple times. I've seen videos about it. So when you're adjusting your coil springs, this is your adjuster. You loosen this. As you can tell, it's still not tight, so you're going to loosen this up, and then this inner piece spins, and you use these two. But the first thing you want to do is never adjust this spring. Unless you know what you're doing, don't loosen these collars up. You will have one hell of a time getting your car back into the right spring rate. These are preset at the factory. Unless you know what you're doing, you can really mess this up. So you're going to make sure that this is nice and tight. I'm going to go up. So basically what I'm going to do, I want to go up about a ½ an inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick measurement between here and here, and then basically I'm just going to turn this so that it goes up. So we're going to go counterclockwise, and it's going to raise this. And then when I get to about a ½ inch or so, I'll put the wheel back on the car, set it on the ground, give it a couple of bounces, see where it settles at, and then make any adjustments. When I'm done, I'll lock this bottom collar and this will not spin anymore. Alright. Let's see if you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm using the big wrench on the top nut and I'm just giving it a twist. Sorry for the shakiness. My camera mount dropped. I dropped it the other day and broke it. So I'm waiting for my new one to come in. So that's pretty much how you adjust it. Notice we're getting a nice gap down here. So like I said, that's the adjustment. Again, never loosen these two collars up. I'm just using the upper one to use it to twist this out. So I had 1 inch between the two gold. So once I get this cranked up a few times, I'll spin this back down. I'll take a new measurement. When I get to about 1.5 inches, hopefully that will be close to where I want to be, and then I'll put this back on and go from there. Alright, if you look, it's about a ½ inch, or as close to a ½ inch as I'm going to get right now. I'd say it took about 30 turns or so to get to this point. This color is still loose. Once I check the measurement with the fender and the tire, I'll jack it back up and torque that down. Well, not torque it, but tighten it down. I'll also check these bolts. I'm going to tighten these down and then schedule an alignment, because my alignment's completely out of whack. I've had the lower cradle out, I've had the struts out, so all of that stuff needs to be done. And just so you know, I am not got my sway bar links in because I want to check the true ride height, not what any of the suspension components are going to interfere with. Once I get the ride height in, the new sway bar links will go into. Alright, my camera on my new camera, my battery on my new camera is about ready to die. Alright, so I am just over 3.5 inches, about 3, maybe a 16th or so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up doing is backing that off maybe ½ a turn, 2 turns, and just calling that good. That is close enough. And then I will go over and do the driver's side.